you don't put your business priority first, but you put the user priority first, the business will win, or almost every time.
Hi everyone, my name is Monica Cravata. I'm here with you today as your host for Velocitize Talks, and I have a wonderful guest today, Scott Jones, the CEO and founder of Illustrate Digital. And he's got an amazing WordPress specialized agency. It's one of the best in Europe, and I'm really excited to have this conversation with you today. Can you tell us a little bit about Illustrate Digital and what makes you guys different? What makes you stand out?
Absolutely. So we have been going for about 8 years. We initially started out on the basis of, I had a really bad experience. I was working brand side. We had not the greatest of agencies to work with and not the greatest of platforms, and I won't name the platform. But we set out with a mission of making sure that we delivered a better experience, something different to people, and I believe we've been doing that for the last 8 years, which is really exciting to continue doing it. WordPress is obviously a brilliant platform to be doing that on, in the open source space with a great community around us, and seeing really, really good adoption of WordPress with particularly the enterprise side of the market as well. So we specialize in user research, user experience, and WordPress development, and sort of the whole consultancy side of that as well around, tech stack, infrastructure, and that sort of thing, which of course WP Engine helps with quite a lot.
Yeah, beautiful. Scott, you've been quoted a lot since the WP Engine Summit from last year. I don't know if you know this, but you were quoted for weeks as saying, "Why not WordPress?"
Of course.
Do you remember?
I do remember, yeah. I do remember.
Yeah. What was the context? What were you kind of pressure testing with the world?
Oh, I think the question was why WordPress? And that was my answer.
Like, why not?
Why not? Yeah, absolutely. I think WordPress is a simple framework. And I think that's what we often forget. There's so much stuff out there in the marketplace around WordPress. It is the most used CMS in the world. And we sort of forget that actually it's a really simple platform, and that's what makes it versatile, that's what makes it flexible. So that was my answer. If you're going to choose any platform, you can go proprietary, get yourself locked in, you can cause yourself a whole raft of challenges, license fees, that sort of thing. Or you can go open source and you can use the most popular, most well-supported, the biggest community. Yeah. So why not WordPress?
On the subject of WordPress and enterprises and this need to accelerate, can you share some examples of how you all have helped on that front, faster time to market?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's about standardization, right? It's about making sure that as an agency, we have a set of practices, frameworks that we can put in place that accelerate the process. Mm-hmm. We've talked about proprietary systems, and of course, they do get you a bit further ahead than a basic framework like WordPress. So it's our responsibility as an agency to make sure we've got some processes, some standardization in place that helps us to accelerate the process. Yeah. And particularly some work that we've done around the headless space was we didn't want clients to come to us and say, I'm going to give you a budget and you're going to spend it figuring out what to do in headless or building it from the ground up every time. So what we've done is built our own framework for headless that sits on top of the likes of Atlas and other potential platforms. And what we can do is then go to market a lot faster, where of course Headless has the challenge of plugins in WordPress don't work out of the box and things like that. Previews don't work. There's a lot to build, mm-hmm. but we've done that work. We've got that framework together, and that means that as soon as a client comes to us and says, "Hey, I want a WordPress site, I want Headless, I want consultancy and help with workflow," whatever it may be, we've got a set of processes, standardized ways of doing it, and we can just accelerate, cut out a couple of months worth of potential work by already having that done and ready to go.
That's so brilliant. So for those that may be watching us today that are not as versed in Headless, I know you guys really are. I mean, you've built this framework on top of the WP Engine Atlas platform. Like you've got it dialed in. Do you think you could offer just some words of just simple education or from your perspective that might be helpful for people listening?
I think we've overcomplicated Headless. I think that's what it comes down to. People are seeing Headless as this big, scary thing, particularly using Atlas and the way that WP Engine have gone about it. That has made it a lot easier. What we decided to do was go from the ground up and explore every potential option, do a lot of research, And we're releasing a white paper soon that will actually help with the decision-making process of which front-end framework should I go with, and how should I go about integrating the back-end side of things, which method should I use for that. But the hard work has already been done by a good number of other people in terms of understanding it and delivering it. But also, Headless is as simple as saying, I already have a WordPress site that's live, and I have an app over here where I'd like to also publish my blog content. And so you might have, say, a bank that has an app and a website. They publish blog content on their website, and the app doesn't have any of that, but they'd like it. It's that simple. Use WordPress to integrate with the app, push the content through, and actually that's really, as a developer, is really easy to achieve.
Yeah. I think that maybe the audience could benefit from knowing what are the gotchas around Headless implementation, where the aspiration may be multi-channel publishing, it may be I want to have 10x site speed, maybe it's one or the other or both. What can they learn to get it right?
Yeah, we've actually produced a white paper on this, so it's probably worth going and finding that on our website and having a read. And it's got bits around choice of architecture, choice of front-end framework, choice of integration type, and a bit about WP Engine in there as well, and how that can help accelerate performance. So it's definitely worth a read of that to learn the whole picture.
Yeah, okay, good. I look forward to seeing that. That'll be great for everybody. I know that you all recently did some great work with a UK law firm, Foot Anstey, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Can you say more about what you all did?
There's a legal index in the UK of how fast sites perform across the whole legal industry, and they rank it every week. And it uses the Google PageSpeed Insights tool to do that. And we took them from, I think it was a sub 20 position up to the number 1 rated law firm in the UK for site performance.
Oh, amazing.
And just to say, that's a non-headless infrastructure as well. But using WordPress. And the process we went through was, we've done quite a lot of R&D ourselves on how we can make sure that sites perform as fast as they can. We want every site we build to be fast, high performant. Yeah. But really it's about working with the client as well to make sure that they agree, they follow our advice on not installing scripts that are unnecessary, and really streamlining down that. So they've not missed out. It's not like they haven't got anything in there that they would normally need as a marketer to do their job well. But it's also making sure that there are not unnecessary extra things in there. Like, one of the things we always talk about in the WordPress space is, don't just install unnecessary plugins. Don't just load plugins in there, right? And that's a really simple version of looking at it, but also thinking about, from a more technical angle, how are we loading images? Where are we loading them from? Have they been compressed, organized, or all of that sort of thing? And loads of other technical things that build a really good picture of how to increase the performance of a site. And we've done exactly that for Foot Anstey. It's really nice to be recognized in that ranking and actually see that improvement, and for them to be a bit of a beacon for everyone else to follow and look at. And we've already had some questions as well from other law firms around, how have you done that? How can we implement that? We'd like to be in that position as well, which getting those conversations generated is always really, really, really interesting. That's
great. So they get in the top 20 ranking for their site speed, and then ultimately that translates to better ranking for search, right?
Of course. So it benefits SEO, and of course it benefits the actual experience itself. So it's not all about that ranking. It's really about the experience for the user.
Right. Yeah. So if you had some advice to give brands out there today on where they might prioritize, because obviously there's so many choices to make today, so many, where they might prioritize investing in marketing, what would you say?
I would say, if you haven't done recently, look at user research. That's really key. It's often overlooked. We often just skip straight into a brief, right? I want it to do this, I want it to look like this, I want it to perform this way, without actually thinking, what does the user need? What are they thinking? How will they interact with it? And so, sort of bookending the process of building a page or building a site with user research and user testing, I would say that is something that people often miss out. And of course, doing user research well also informs the wider business model. It's not just a benefit to the UX of a site, it's a benefit to the whole customer experience. Yeah. And of course, that adds a significant amount of value. It can work up into other stakeholders in the business and really provide value, whilst doing the primary job of making sure the journey you build and the way that you put your pages together and the content you have on them is actually meeting the needs of that audience and actually serving the people that you're supposed to serve. And if you do that, and if you don't put your business priority first, but you put the user priority first, the business will win almost every time. And that is what we're seeing, that really good research informs really good experiences, which drives really good outcomes.
It's really smart that you have that added service at your agency, I think. So smaller brands, law firms, different companies that may not have that in-house, then you can offer that. And it's just part of your process that you'll do before you get into, all right, let's go after this, making your digital experience better.
Absolutely. And doing non-biased competitor analysis as well. You can analyze your competitors from your own point of view in-house, right? Or you can analyze your own UX designers can analyze your own UX journey, but it's a biased view. And so having that non-biased view that's provided by the team at Illustrate really actually makes the difference. Yeah.
So you will do competitive analysis of the digital experience of someone's competition.
Yeah, so we benchmark. So we look at essentially, what do you need to do to leapfrog your competition in different areas? And we look at the detail of how easy is it to search through your website? How good is the content? How easy is it to navigate and find things? And obviously the other things like performance and accessibility and all of those things that play a big role in the overall journey. Yeah. And we looked at stats recently of, I think, 24% of everyone of the UK population is registered disabled in some different way. And so even just on the accessibility point, like if you're not prioritizing that, you're potentially cutting out a quarter of your market, which is huge. It's significant.
Right. So like screen readers and changes in font size and.
Yeah, and those technical things, but also getting the basics right. Is the basic font size the right size? Is it legible? Yeah. Just simple stuff.
Just
like
the basics.
That. Yeah.
I've so enjoyed talking to you. I'm really impressed with your background and everything that you've achieved.
Thank you.
Illustrate Digital is just a very impressive agency. I wonder for you, just kind of looking ahead and what you're feeling most inspired by right now, that you could just share, like what's getting you up every day? What
gets me up every day and what gets me excited is the team at Illustrate. It is the people I work with and the passion they have for really building the best experiences. And so I really want the team to be at the forefront doing their best work, and I think releasing them to do that has really made the difference.
Oh, that's great.
And seeing them do that and seeing the progress of particular individuals in that journey, I think that creates a huge sort of like boiling pot of passion across the company. And one thing we're really good at, or we've become good at, is collecting all of the cool things we're doing in little pockets of client projects and whatever it may be that we're working on, to say, let's celebrate the really cool stuff that you've managed to do, whether it be you've really genuinely improved an experience, or you came up with a different way of designing something that no one's thought of before, or you managed to increase the performance of a site we already put live and it's shot up in site speed and that sort of thing. So it's that sort of melting pot of the passion that the team have that really drives me, and that I want to get up every day and continue that journey and keep pushing on with it.
That's great. I love it. Well, thank you so much for meeting with us in London. It's been really great to talk to you. I've enjoyed the conversation. I'm Monica Cravata with Velocitize Talks, and we've been talking with Scott Jones, the founder and CEO of Illustrate Digital. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you next time.